Hey everyone, welcome to Horrible Gaming. My name is Nora, and on today's video we are doing our weekly island tour. Today's island is a beautiful structured castle town set during fall, and I feel like it's going to bring a lot of inspo out there for those needing ideas on filler areas, or maybe you're struggling near the edge of your map. Even if you're not doing this theme, there's lots of great ideas to provide a lot of great Animal Crossing inspiration. Today's island was created by cherie.crossing on Instagram. We've actually toured a lot of Cherie's islands on my channel. Cherie is so good at making these structured and beautiful, fully packed with detail islands, so I hope that you enjoy today's island tour as much as I did. So like usual, we will be starting our island tour right here at the entry, and I really love the entry because it's so easy to work with and transition from. I also really love this combination of the fence and hedging near the edge of the map. If you're like me and you try to make your islands feel a little bit bigger, this is a wonderful method on how to do it. It's also a great option if you're not decorating your beaches and you don't want your visitors to access it, so just a wonderful combination already. Anyways, normally with my island tours, I kind of just wander and see what we stumble upon, so we're gonna do that method of course today. Over here on the right side of the airport, we have this really nice structured plaza build, and I really appreciate this whole entire layout because I feel like even if you're not using a brick code, this is a wonderful idea on how you can connect over into the plaza. I feel like we're always tempted on blocking this building off because of course it doesn't really match with much, but this is a wonderful idea on how you can do transitions around it and even a build also directly in front of the building itself. And even if you're not using a brick code, imagine this as like a city core road. I feel like this would work really well, and this is why I encourage y'all to always watch my island tour videos, because even if it's not a theme that you are working on, a lot of the builds and layouts can work for other themes, of course with the appropriate code and design swaps. So this is why I enjoy, talking about these things, because maybe you're somebody like me who hits walls really often on their island, or you just don't feel inspired. Having references like we're looking at today really does help spark that, inspiration. Another thing I absolutely love about this island, and I cannot express it enough, is all the villager decor ideas. Many of us struggle with our villagers. If you're like me, I tend to keep them really simple, mostly just because I don't know what to do with them. And I absolutely love Cherie's Islands because of course they provide so much inspiration and wonderful ideas on how you can decorate and lay out with these villagers. Anyways, once we leave the villager plaza, we get introduced to our first incline on the island, and of course it's right here by this amazing land bridge. Now many of y'all know I am a huge sucker for any kind of land bridge. I feel like it adds a lot of structure and dimension to your island. If you're not someone who is crazy about terraforming, this is such an easy build to introduce a little bit of terraform on your city core island. So even if you're not doing a castle theme, imagine this with some sidewalk codes and a road, and you have a really nice transition on a more urban styled island. But of course I really love the usage of that water code with the boats on top of it. I just love this whole entire build so much. And another thing I think that is so great about this build over here is the fact that it's really close to the edge of the map. Normally when I do these highway builds or little walkway areas, I tend to build them in the middle of my map because I don't know really how to transition them near the edge, and of course Cherie has solved that dilemma on this island for me, so I'm really looking forward to recreating this now on a future island. This land bridge also leads up to one of the most beautiful perspectives I think I've ever seen on Animal Crossing. It is this gorgeous castle perspective. This whole entire build is such big brain energy. I don't know how Cherie comes up with all these insane builds, but it definitely keeps me inspired on Animal Crossing. So if you're looking for a build to fill up a large amount of space on your map, maybe you've been stuck on a certain location for a while and you're working on a castle theme, I think that this is such a wonderful idea. So from the perspective, as we make our way towards the left side, we're actually greeted with more villager homes, and I think that this is a wonderful way on how to transition from a perspective. It's honestly such an easy way to transition from it too, because all you're doing is rounding out the terraform and adding a little bit more natural elements on the first level. And let's pretend that this wasn't a castle theme and maybe you're doing something more urban styled, and this is like with the servers and you're going for a city core like theme. This is still a wonderful way on how to blend and transition this out, because this incline could lead up to another villager home. So that's why I love this build so much. I feel like this will help a lot of people out who are struggling with transitioning from a big perspective area. Anyways, once we leave the edge of the map, we are greeted with this gorgeous natural transition area that also has Nook's Cranny over here too. I can't get over how stunning this whole entire location is. The waterscape is just wonderful and so well done. And then we also have this really nice little transitional area leading up to Nook's Cranny too. I just think having some sort of a natural area on on a structured island is absolutely perfect, even if you're not going for heavy terraform on multiple levels. Just some sort of a natural park area just adds a whole new vibe to a structured island. I also really appreciate that this build is near the edge of the map because, like I said earlier in this video, I just feel like the edge is so difficult to transition and blend out from. So Cherry just has a lot of wonderful ideas on this island and how you can make those troubled areas work. I also really love this build too because the way it's transitioned, it connects back up toward the structured areas on their island, and of course it also has the campsite, another thing that I always tend to avoid because I don't know what to do with it on a structured island. I just love that Cherry took one of the two most difficult buildings to decorate with, in my opinion, on a city or structured island and turned it into one of the most beautiful builds I think I have ever seen on Animal Crossing. I also really appreciate that you can see the bridges from multiple angles on this build too. It just really adds a lot of nice dimension and different beautiful lookouts you can see throughout the natural area. And of course, even if you're not someone who does structured island themes, I feel like this is wonderful inspo for those doing a more natural island. So once again, cherie.crossing just knocks everything they do out of the park. I swear everything that Cherry touches on Animal Crossing turns into a work of art. I just love everything that they create. I love all of their islands because there are so many wonderful ideas on how you can transition from a lot of really big builds or, you know, those really awkward spaces. Anyways, once we leave that natural area, we are greeted with another amazing build by Cherry, and I just love this courtyard build. This is such a gorgeous build, and it was inspired by Autumn Weeds on Instagram. I also really love this location too because you could actually use the angled pieces to transition into other locations on your island. I feel like this would be a wonderful build to transition to a school or a natural park area like Cherry did on the left side. You could also transition this to a shop area or even a boat dock location. So once again, I love builds like this because they allow multiple possibilities on how you can transition into other locations on your island. I also really love this structure over here behind the fountain. It kind of gives me university vibes, but I just think it's absolutely beautiful with the gazebos being part of the actual structure. I really love the curtain partition behind the castle gate centerpieces. It just adds a lot of nice color and dimension to the build. So I just feel like this whole entire location is so well done. I also can't believe how close it is to the edge of the map and how Cherry was able to transition it so well. This is also the same building that connects over to that little land bridge that I was talking about earlier that could lead up to another villager right by that nice castle perspective. So it blows my mind how flawless cherie.crossing is at transitioning difficult areas and builds like we've seen today, and this is why I absolutely adore touring their islands on the channel because I just feel like there are so many great ideas for city core and just structured islands in general, and Cherry is just a master at packing them with so much detail. Anyways, once we transition on the right side of that little courtyard area, we are greeted with this gorgeous dock build, and I just really love this filler location so much. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I believe that this is the same water code that connects over to that little walking land bridge that we saw earlier. Anyways, when we go through this castle gate, this location actually blew my mind. I cannot believe that this is behind the plaza. I am so used to blocking off plaza completely, where Cherry decided to actually do a really beautiful canal area directly behind it. I am 100% stealing this idea for my castle city that we just started. I just think that this is such a beautiful way on how you can transition behind the plaza without it looking like you were obviously trying to hide it. So this just kind of blew my mind. I never would have thought to do a transition like this behind the plaza. Anyways, once we make our way back towards the courtyard build and go down from where the inclines are, we can actually get a better viewpoint of the canal area right behind the plaza. And again, another wonderful way on how to transition on each side of the plaza itself. This was actually something that really stood out to me on today's island tour, was all these wonderful ways on how you can actually make plaza look absolutely stunning on your Animal Crossing island. I just truly think that today's island tour is really going to help inspire somebody out there struggling with a structured island. Regardless, I hope that something today helped you on your Animal Crossing island. I believe I've seen everything for the canal street that we saw that connected pretty much from each end of the middle of her map, so I'm gonna go ahead and make my way back towards the airport just to make sure I don't miss everything. But something that really caught my eye was this structure right here. Normally I see people doing imagine the medieval walls layered on 2 levels, and I just think that storefront idea is so beautiful. I just think that that's such a unique idea, and I love how this whole location transitions actually over to the museum. I believe the museum is also one of the last locations we need to see on this island, and of course, just like everything else on today's tour, it absolutely blew my mind. I struggle with the museum so much, and I'm always tempted to do like this large build for it, and this was a wonderful build for me to see because I love that the museum feels wonderfully decorated, but it doesn't take up a bunch of space. So if you're like me who usually avoids the museum because you don't really know what to do with it, I think that Cherie's idea is such a wonderful build that can inspire and give a lot of ideas for multiple Animal Crossing themes. Anyways, I think I've seen everything on Cherie's Island now. Like I always say, I encourage you to visit the dream address that was shared in the beginning of this video. You can also get that dream address from Cherie's Instagram in the link provided in the video's description. I hope you enjoyed touring Cherie's newest Animal Crossing island with me today. I know I had so much fun exploring it. I honestly think that this is my favorite island that Cherie has ever created. So Cherie, thank you so much for sharing it with the Animal Crossing community. Anyways, before today's video ends, I do want to give a huge thank you to all of my channel members. Thank you so much for supporting me as a creator. Thank you so much for watching and have a horrible day. I'll see you next video.